All right, welcome back to the Tamfam podcast, brought to you by 808 Stunners Basketball, bringing inspiration to the islands, where we connect with the past and present athletes, coaches, club teams that can provide inspiration. This week, we have two of Ilani's greats, Washington State alum and Colorado School of Mines alum. Welcome, Derrick and Kyle Pape. How's it going, guys?
Good, no complaints, man. Thanks for having us.
Oh, thank you guys for jumping on. I really appreciate it. So everyone on the island knows who you guys are. And if they don't, then these guys are not from here. You already know that, right?
A small island, man. Everybody
I
knows.
know. Well, when you guys was at Ilani, you guys instantly made an impact from your freshman year. Tell me, what was it like to prepare you guys to go into season and just instantly make that impact right away?
Okay. Shoot, personally, it all started, it's what you did in the off season, right? That's when everything started. That's when all the preparation took place. And for me personally, that's when I had to get the most work done. And I'm talking about running, right? With my dad, making me run sand, jumping in the sand, running hills, a lot of hours at the basketball court, shooting, doing drills. And then on top of that, playing against older guys, all over the island, in pickup. So, that's constant, and, doing that every day, during the off season. And then by the time it came season, in theory, it should have been easier, right? Because all the preparation, all the hard work was already done. And then when season comes, it's just perform. So for me, that's pretty much what it was like heading into the season. Yeah, maybe Kyle can share you his.
I think one of the keys to our success was, we were surrounded by people with the same mission. We all wanted to compete. We all wanted to win. We all wanted to work hard. We all wanted to sacrifice, on our weekends, on our off days, go do something, do some basketball, go to the park. It's actually really good. You see a lot of more kids outdoors at the park.
Yeah.
We learned about kid playing at the park. We played pickup, against the old, the old timers now, because we're slowly getting into the old timers. But
We'll be there in a few years.
That's where we learned. We were beat up growing up, playing at the park, and that's how you learn. And I think, one key thing, my advice is surround yourself with people who are going to support you on what your goals are. Don't waste your time with people who have other goals in mind that's going to hurt what you're trying to do. And then at the end of the day, we both, grew up, playing against each other, competing, and that's kind of helped us and build our relationship right now.
Nice. So, Kyle, I know your senior year, that's when Derrick graduated, right? Your senior year. So you guys winning 3 state championships in a row. I know your senior year, there had to be a lot of hype about you guys winning 4 in a row. Tell me, what did you do to prepare mentally going into your senior year?
Well, and kind of going on that, we had to go through, the 2 other guys you had on this podcast before, Clint Parks and Maya Ostrowski.
Yeah.
I played against Clint Parks in the championship game my senior year. Kuku was tough that year. And just playing Maya Ostrowski in the season. I mean, we almost lost at home last game of the season to them. We barely won by a buzzer beater. So Maya was tough. He's a great player. But I think it was the culture. It was the culture we had. It was tough with Derrick leaving and the other 6 or 7 seniors that we had. I was kind of the lone senior. But to be honest, everyone knew the role. And I think that was the key to our success. Everyone knew what they needed to do. Everybody didn't need to score.
Yeah.
We had guys who were going to go get rebounds. We had guys who were going to go play defense, be the defensive stopper. We had guys who are going to go take the charge, or, it's just that culture of you don't have to score to help the team. Find other ways to help. And I think a lot of kids these days kind of get lost in that. Like, they think they got to score, to get seen or get recruited. But I mean, if you can play defense, you can handle the ball, you can just be a smart player that the coach can trust on the court. I mean, you can find success, you know.
I think that's it's great that you guys are coaching then, huh?
We try to just pass on some knowledge, you know, stuff we learned that we wish we would have known at, you know, these kids' age.
Yeah, well, the kids now need it though. They like you said, they all worry about dropping 30 or 40 points instead of doing all the little things.
Exactly. You know, to build on what Kyle said, I mean, I don't need to, I don't really want to bring this up, but I just thought it was funny, and it's like the perfect thing that went along with what he said as far as players knowing and understanding their roles, right? On the first day of practice at Iolani, Coach Doc Mugiishi would always line us up on the sideline, and he would ask us, go down. Every person got to tell them their specific roles, you know, actually what they think their role is.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because, and I would always remember this, and Kyle probably remembers, wait, who said it? I forget who it was, but it came to one person. Maybe it was Wes Eberlin, maybe. Yeah, so when it was our teammate Wes's turn, Wes was like, Coach asked him, what's your role, Wes? And Wes was like, give Derrick the ball. You know? And then like Doc was kind of, he was caught off guard by that, so he was laughing. But then he said, you know what, you're not wrong, right? He like, it's not like you got to give Derrick the ball every time, but at least you know, like, you know, what Derrick's strengths are, what his weaknesses are, what your strengths are, what you do well, right? And, you know, yes, in certain situations, give Derrick the ball. But I mean, that's just, you know, that's just a funny story going back to like specific people knowing their roles, knowing their limitations, and going and doing their role to the best of their ability, rather than going out of themselves and trying to, you know, like you said, like try to score 30 or whatever, because that might be more detrimental to the team, you know?
Yeah, that's great. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody's curious because I'm curious. So, you graduated from Iolani, Derrick, right? And I'm pretty sure you had a lot of offers, you know, just to name a few. You had Utah, Gonzaga, and Hawaii. What was it that made you choose Washington State?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, like, and I think a lot of people going through the recruiting process, you know, if they can hear this, you know, I think it'll help them out a lot. You know, the first thing to do is not get caught up in the quantity, right? Right now, a lot of people, you can see them, you know, looking for the offers, like, oh, where's the offer? Like trying to collect,
Yeah.
you know, collect offers. But in reality, right, if you can narrow your sights and really pinpoint what's important to you, then that'll make things so much easier, right? So like in my situation, okay, so I had offers from kind of like, you know, a scattered amount, right, from all over the country. But then like when I narrowed it down, you know, like location didn't really matter to me. You know, I wanted to play in a good, tough conference. I didn't care if I was in the boonies or what. I didn't care if I didn't need to be in a city. You know, the thing that's important to me most is the program. Will I go there and develop as a player, or will I just be a part of a program? You know what I mean? And the coaching staff and the people that I was around. For me, those are the most important things. You know, and that really solidified my decision to pick Washington State. You know, I felt under Coach Tony and Coach Dick Bennett, you know, I would get better, tougher as a player. I would develop. And then also, like, those are top-notch guys. And, like, you know, they're the most sincere and genuine people that I've known. So for me, the decision, quite frankly, was kind of easy. But like I said, everyone's different. But if you can narrow your sights and truly pinpoint what's important to you as a person, then it'll make choosing a place a lot more easier and manageable.
Yeah. Was there any regret of you not staying home?
Not really. I guess the only regret I had was not being able to play in front of home. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean, my dad and my family, they all came up. You know, even Kyle came to watch me in Colorado. You know, but you know, people came up to see me, and that was cool. But I do regret not being able to have a game over here, in front of my home, because I think that would have been, that would have been a dream come true and something else, but it is what it is.
I'm pretty sure after the career you had at Washington State, UH regretted not pushing hard, huh?
No, maybe.
So for you, Kyle, like, what was the deal breaker for you to choose Colorado School of Mines?
Um, if you put it I don't put it that way, deal breaker. I think for me, and what I tell all the kids that we coach and we help get recruited, find the best fit for you. Find a program that wants you, find a program that is going to help you get your education. Because I think the education is the most important thing. Yeah, you're playing, but you're getting that free education.
Mm.
And for me, there's no regrets not playing Division I, because I know I could have. I was a borderline player coming out of high school, but playing preseason every year against Division I teams, I was able to have some success. So there's no regrets on that. I ended up starting every game of my career. I ended up getting an education from one of the top engineering schools in the country. I have a great job now. And I was able to play overseas for a little bit. So, I'm happy with where I am, what I chose. And, my story can maybe help other kids to choose, instead of walking on to a Division I, maybe go take that Division II scholarship or Division III or NAIA, anything that's going to, where you can have success on the court and, get your education at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I know in high school you guys, were killing it, and I'm pretty sure you guys' confidence was so high during high school. Now, tell me, going into college, did you guys have the same confidence going into college that you guys would go make a big impact right away?
I don't think so. I think it's a different mentality. So for me, the confidence in my skill was still there.
Mm.
But it's kind of like when you go up when you take that leap from high school to college, especially Division I, right? For myself, you kind of got to like start all over again. Sort of, right? So we had to rebuild. So for me, like I had to learn how to really play defense. I had to learn how to guard some quick cats. You know what I mean? Like I had to learn how to, the pace, the speed, the strength, everything was up a couple notches. So skill-wise, I was okay, but I had to kind of rebuild from where my confidence was as far as, being an effective player at that level. So I had times when like, oh man, like I had to get scored on a lot, times where we really had to go through the grind and guard someone full court and, get beat, you know what I mean? So like, you do kind of have to start over again, but I wouldn't say like the confidence was lost. It just had to kind of recalibrate that a little bit, especially when you go up in levels. Yeah. So I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully.
So, you were just mentioning that you still had the confidence, but the speed of the guys there was a little bit quicker and stuff like that. Did that at any point of time put you down and made you want to, just give up? Or did that mentally make you stronger?
One time, so I have one little story. So like I had to play against some really good guards in the Pac-10 at that time. One of them was like Nate Robinson, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a freshman, right? And so I get the ball on the wing, and Nate closes out on me, and I give him. I think I shot faked, and he flew by me because he went to try and block it. I took one hard dribble to the middle, and I went up for a shot. But then I lost. I don't know where the ball went because it didn't go to the basket. It went behind me. And I was trying to figure out what happened. But anyways, like Nate went to try and block me on my shot fake. He flew by. And then all of a sudden, he blocked me from behind. You know what I mean? So like that's the kind of speed and athleticism that you're dealing with. I know he's a freak of nature, but for me, like I could have, like, yes, there was a moment when I was like, oh damn, am I over my head? Like shoot, like I don't know what else I could have done. But then the other part of me was like, man, you know, like I got to push myself to get better. You know, I got to get quicker. Okay, I got him on the fake, but, you know, did I go as hard as I could on that one dribble pull-up? No. So, like, now I'm starting to think, okay, I got to get my shot off quicker. I got to work on this. I got to work on that. Okay, and then as the years went on, like, you know, because I worked in such a way, right, it kind of set me up a little bit better. But I never really did think about quitting or anything, but it was like a wake-up call, you know, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. And you're like, oh, dang, like I got to work harder. So fortunately, you know, that was the right mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know a lot of kids now they tend to give up easily when things get a little bit harder, or the other opponents is a lot faster than them. They tend to quit. So that's why I had to ask, you how was that for you? When you went to Washington State. For you, Kyle, I'm pretty sure it was a breeze for you at Colorado, right?
Well, the altitude got me. You know, that's the only thing that was kind of hard in the beginning. But at the same time, you're still adjusting to the size, the physicality. But I think us playing up in age, growing up, and like I said, playing at the park, we were taught at an early age that struggling makes you better.
Mm,
And it teaches you how to fight and not give up. I mean, you go to the park when we were playing growing up, you lose one game, you're waiting 5, 6 games to get back
yeah,
on. You don't want to lose.
yeah.
So that was a culture we grew up in. We're trying to bring it back. We're trying to see how we can bring that culture back. More competition. But at the end of the day, we teach our kids, like, if you don't struggle, if something doesn't, I mean, if you look at the wall over there, I mean, you can't see the wall, but the quote we have on the wall is, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. So we have a quote on the wall that we write up maybe every week, for the kids. And I mean, it's a coincidence that we're talking about this right now and that quote's on
Yeah.
the wall. But, we really emphasize to the kids, work your hardest. You're going to struggle, but that's the only way you learn, by making mistakes. And, that's how you get better.
It's crazy that you guys mentioned that you guys played pickup ball with older guys when you guys was younger. Literally everybody that I interviewed before you guys did the same thing. So I hope that the generation now is watching every video that I post, because literally every single person said, playing against older guys mentally got them right, physically and all that, and that's why they had a successful, time during their high school careers and at the next level. So I hope all the generation now is listening to what you guys are saying and everybody else before you guys said all that. I mean, it's great that you guys are not only teaching your guys players basketball, but also, about life and all that. So tell me, like, how important do you think the kids now should start, doing what you guys did and stuff like that, playing pickup ball? Because I know a lot of the kids now, they're afraid to play against older guys because they're adults and stuff like that. Like, what would be you guys' advice to those kids that actually want to play pickleball but just afraid to play against older guys?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I can't say when I was young, my dad had to make me go to the parks and play against, older guys,
Yeah,
college guys, men, like big names that, were from here. I don't know if you remember, like Everett Fry from
yeah,
Kalan.
yeah,
I used to play with him every single week. Some other names that you'd probably remember, but I was intimidated in the like I'm in seventh grade, sixth, seventh grade, trying,
yeah,
and but it's a process, like you just gotta step on the court, that's the first step, and then you start to figure things out. Like, it doesn't come in the beginning. You probably won't be killing, you know what I mean? But you just have to go through the grind and figure out what works, what doesn't work, and just remember that it's a process. And so, like, for instance, when I was that age, sixth, seventh grade, I'd play at Kamaki Rec Center twice a week with like guys like Everett Fry and some others, and it was high level games. So these guys can go. And I remember there are these couple prison guards, right? And they play too. And so like couple times, I mean, I don't know. So a couple times I drive the lane and they literally like clean me out, you know? Like it's kind of scary. And so like now, okay, I can be like, oh, Dad, I don't want to play anymore. Let's go home.
Yeah.
Or like now when I'm driving, I am alert. Like I am looking for where those guys are, and I'm like trying to not get hit again. So now I'm trying to figure out ways, you know, to kind of maneuver in the key. You know, maybe if they commit to me, I'm trying to figure out how I can get rid of the ball, right? So other things are coming into play now, and it's making me, it's forcing me to be more alert than when I was before, right? And that's the kind of stuff that you pick up, you know, on the fly.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like that sink or swim mentality, you know, and then other things, right? You like, you know, you see what moves don't work. You see, I didn't get my shot off quick enough if you get blocked, right? Or my pass was too soft and it got stolen, right? So that's all the stuff that you can, you know, that you learn from, you know. But like again, there's always a choice, right? Like I can turn over the ball by throwing a soft pass. I can get blocked by not driving hard enough. I can, you know, not pay attention. But, you know, am I going to take that mistakes, you know, and those knocks, you know, and let it, you know, deter me from working harder and getting better? Or am I going to use that to kind of see like, okay, this is where I got to work on. Okay, maybe I got to try this. Oh, I got to zip the pass a little bit more, like stuff like that, you know? So there's always two ways to think. And, you know, if you have the right way of thinking, then, you know, playing against older guys, you know, can really help you out in the long run. And I think Kyle can probably say the same exact thing. It just forces you to play, you know, and figure things out on your own.
So I think all the kids now should just go out there and just play then, huh?
I think so. Go out and play, you know, be smart. Like you don't have to be afraid, but I mean, how else are you going to know, right?
Yeah.
If you're working out by yourself the whole time, right? How are you going to know if that move works? I don't know. Try it on somebody, you know what I mean? Try it on something bigger or a little bigger, a little quicker, right? And then from there, see what you can do it next. You know, see if you got to improve this, if you got to work on a quicker dribble, if you got to create more space or whatever it is, right? You gotta figure it out.
I mean, you guys had a awesome, successful career of basketball. You guys played college ball. You guys played overseas. Like, what was your guys' motivation and inspiration to, you know, continue to keep pushing the way you guys did?
I think it's just being competitive with yourself, you know, seeing how far you can go, seeing what you can do. You know, you talk about success that we've had, but we've had a lot of struggles.
Mm.
You know, we've had a lot of times that you probably won't hear about where we, you know, had a bad game or bad practice. I mean, you're practicing so much, you know, you're working out so much, but that's what you got to do. You got to practice all the time so that you do come close to perfection. You know, no one will ever be perfect, but at least you can, you know, come close to it. You can do your best. And just the drive. You got to have the drive. You know, and it's up to you. What do you really want to do, and what are you willing to do to get there? You know, what are you willing to sacrifice? You know.
So you guys train and coach a lot of players. You guys, what was the reason for you guys starting this Performance Hawaii team?
I think Kyle mentioned it before, but the only reason that we started this was, you know, to kind of give back, because I was talking to Kyle about this when we were thinking about doing this kind of academy stuff, and you know, I had mentioned like, okay, like I don't know, I don't really want to do it, you know, because there's a lot of people out there right now, you know, but so I thought like, okay, all of those experiences that we have been you know, blessed to go through, playing at, you know, a good high school, going to college, you know, playing basketball, you know, going to play professional, like you know, all the different coaches that we've come into contact with, you know, all of that, even like going through agents, going through different world to experience basketball. Like, it'll be so much easier, you know, if we just kept all of that to ourselves and just be cool, you know what I mean? But then I was like, I think our purpose is to share that knowledge and experience with as many people who want to learn and possibly aspire to kind of experience the same things that we were fortunate enough to go through. So I think that was the main factor in starting what we did. And it was just to share all of the things that we picked up, all of our knowledge and experiences from all over the world, and kind of help the kids figure out a blueprint to help them get to where they want to go, you know. And so that was the main thing behind starting the training. And and then it's kind of just been growing from there.
Yeah, it's growing big. I mean, everybody's talking about you guys' Performance Hawaii team, man. It is crazy. How can a player, you know, if they wanted to come in and train with you guys, like how would they be able to do that?
They can just either go to our website, performancehawaii.com, and, you know, contact us on the contact page, or you can email us at performancehawaii@gmail.com. You know, now with this whole virus thing, we've had to scale back a lot. You know, we can only have 4 kids in the gym at a time. You know, they all got to wear masks. I mean, we're balancing a lot of kids right now, but I mean, we do have trainings open to the public on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and we're trying to see if we can start something back up on Sundays, like how we used to have our Sunday clinic, but at a smaller scale. But the bottom line is, hey, if you just have questions in basketball in general with anything, we're more than willing to just share what we think, you know, give any advice. I mean, it doesn't have to be training with us. It can just be a question about how to get recruited, how to, like you said, how do I go play pickup? Where's the best place to pick up? Or, you know, any questions you have, we're more than willing to help, you know.
So you guys training and all that. Talk to me about how your guys' type of training is like throughout the day.
I mean, the kind of stuff that we make the kids do.
Yes.
So like, I don't know, it kind of depends. Like for us, let's see, you know, I like to always warm up like 5 minutes of ball handling, you know, just to get the hands firing up. And then we start to go into kind of like, you know, work on a few footwork stuff, you know, game speed finishes. And then after that, you know, we'll kind of progress to, you know, doing a certain moves into creating space and getting your shot off, emphasizing that last dribble before the pickup into your shot. And I think a lot of people overlook that. So that's kind of like what I try to focus on. I keep it real basic, right? So my thing, ever since I was, you know, these kids' age, you know, elementary, intermediate, you know, I didn't do anything fancy. I think people kind of get it backwards right now. You know, they see what looks cool and fancy and they want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then in reality, you know, there's a chronological order to things. So like, I went to Kalakau Clinic since I was 6 years old, and Coach Agena would never teach us anything fancy. It was all just reps of ball handling. Literally 45 minutes of stationary ball handling, and then like 15 or like 20 minutes of sideline to sideline zigzag, right? So it was all ball handling, all basic stuff. But you know, when you do it at a certain pace and speed, and when you push yourself to be uncomfortable, when you do the easy stuff, you know, over time you find yourself, you know, getting really good at it, you know. And so, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you focus on the basic, the easy stuff, but get really good at it. I promise you, you know, you'll be able to do some of those other fancy stuff, you know what I mean? But yeah, so like over here, we keep it basic. We keep it game-like, and we want them to, whatever is going to help them find the most success on the court, you know, that's what we'll focus on. you know, we're not going to teach him too much James Harden moves or anything like that, you know.
So you guys travel a lot for tournaments and stuff. Where do you guys go to play you guys tournaments?
For the girls' side, you know, we travel to all the stuff's on the West Coast to the EOT tournaments. We don't try to venture out too far. We just go where the coaches are going to be, and that's just the bottom line. We're just about exposure and playing in front of coaches. We were supposed to start the boys' side this past summer, but with the virus and everything, we're putting that on hold. But to be honest, I mean, there's a lot of teams. There's a lot of travel teams. Depends on what you're trying to do. And really, like I said before, in order to really grow and learn as a player, you got to play against better competition to see where you're, especially nationally, if you're trying to play collegiately, you know. So for us, I mean, I won one tournament. We played 5 games. We lost all 5 games, you know. Derrick told me my job's on the line now.
Yeah. He's on the hot seat. He's on the hot seat.
But, you know, we were playing against top teams who had Division I players on it. And that's how you learn as a player, playing against those players. I'd rather lose 5 games if these kids get better and, you know, become hungrier and learn, you know, and that's what it is. It's about growth.
You know, so all the players that you guys coach, and I hear a lot of them went to go and play college ball. How special is it for you guys to know that you guys impacted them a lot on that?
I mean, we're just doing our job. You know, we're here to help. We had our playing careers. I mean, we do come in here and play one-on-one, you know, for our workouts. You know, me, Derrick, and a couple of the other guys. But you know, our playing days are done. It's about the next generation and helping the next generation experience what we got to experience. There's a lot of things I wish I could share about how my experience was in, you know, in Kazakhstan my first year, or Ukraine, or even when I was in Japan trying to play over there. I mean, it's just different cultures, you know. The world there's so much out there. You know, I hope after this virus, you know, things can open back up, because I love traveling and seeing different places, you know, meeting new people. But at the end of the day, it's as long as they're happy, you know, they're able to play at the next level, continue their careers, continue their education, you know, we're happy with that. That's all that matters.
You know, just going back to what you just mentioned, that you guys play one-on-one with each other. Was there ever a player that you guys trained that called you guys out to play one-on-one?
Tell them the story. You don't have to name names. Yeah. Tell them the story.
Oh, that's so funny. We're still competitive, so we love when people call us out. They call us out all the time. And then we just have to
put them in their place.
Yeah, but then it's so funny. It's one story. We had these. I'm not going to name names. So we had these 2 kids that came to our Sunday clinic at Midpack, and you know, they'd stay after and they want to play us 2-on-2, me and Kyle. And so we're like, sure. And they're like, yeah. You know, so we played them 2-on-2. And let's just say they never came back to Sunday clinic after that.
And these are varsity kids, you know. But it's part of learning. We don't mind. I mean, we'd rather have kids call us out and test where we are, and, you know, that's where they can see where they are, you know.
Yeah.
And we'll always step up. I mean, we're still pretty young, I guess 33, 34, but, you know, sooner or later I know we're going to lose it. So we're trying to, you know, enjoy it while we can, you know.
I mean, with all the success that you guys are having, and I'm sure you guys are getting it. Do you guys get a lot of hate from people from the success that you guys are getting?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
you can go ahead. You can go ahead and just be true, Derrick. I'm sure a lot of coaches be getting a lot of hate from people just by the success that they're getting, and I'm pretty sure you guys are irritated from it, because I get a lot of it. I mean, a lot, but I'm fine with it, you know.
That's part of the territory, you know. I think we did not know this coming into starting Performance Hawaii. We had no idea. But after starting it, then you kind of start to see what it's all about. You start to see how, possessive and territorial people are.
Yeah.
And you know, like, even though you come into the game, like, you know, just trying to help kids because you have something to offer, there's always going to be people that are going to try and, like you said, hate, you know. But then at the end of the day, okay, when you put everything aside, okay, and you got a hater, you ask yourself, okay, like, why is there a hater? There's got to be a reason, right? And it always comes down to, all right, ego and loss of money, right? I mean, you got some of these people charging, you know, a lot of money to be a part of to just be a part of a program or whatnot, and that's totally fine. I'm always about compensation, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But you know, when your reason for hating on people because of, you know, because of competition, right? Then it kind of just it makes you kind of wonder, like, you know, like, why? There's always going to be competition. In everything, there's competition. There's 15 of the same products of different brands, right? It's just, that's just how life is, you know? Like, if you can provide a good quality service, you know, to help kids, then why not? And it shouldn't be, you know, reason for people to hate because, you know, what you're trying to do, all right? But yeah, I mean, there's going to be hate all the time, and irritates us because, like, you know, we find it, like, unnecessary. Like, you know, out of everybody, you know, I just feel, okay, we can relate to these kids. Like, I give credit to everyone out there who's out there in the field, who's training kids, who's taking time of their own days, training kids, helping them out, coaching them, okay? Because not everyone's doing it. So I give credit to everyone. And, you know, because they're doing their part. And after everything, we born and raised over here, you know, we went through the exact same process as everybody. And then we're able to find some success. So, like, if anyone can relate, you know, to what these kids are going through, you know, I'd like to think, you know, it's, you know, it would be us, you know. And, you know, I'd hate to relate it to, like, you know, football, you know, say, like, Tua Tagovailoa comes back, or Marcus Mariota starting their football thing, like, who gonna hate? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always gonna be some type of haters, but why not? That's what you're trying to achieve. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you want to pick their brains or whatnot? But everyone has their part to play, you know, no matter what. But, you know, haters gonna be haters, and as long as you're doing the stuff for the right reason, right? It can't be wrong. So, I mean, you know, that's our thinking of it. So.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad you guys have a strong mind, because I know some coaches that gets hate like that, they turn into a whole nother level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. You know that I'm pretty. I mean, I know you guys mentioned how strong minded you guys was, but what kind of advice can you give to a player that's dealing with a coach um that tells them not to do certain things, and it just throws their game off? Like, what kind of advice can you give to a player like that?
I mean, I think it's hard. You know, I've coached players in that position before,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, you gotta be mentally tough. You gotta maybe the coach is right in some certain situations. Every situation is different, you know. But I think at the end of the day, it's keeping your cool, because you don't want to be the one to lose your cool, especially as a player. You know,
Hmm.
then everyone has the evidence now to say, oh, that kid has a bad attitude. You know, that kid's not a team player. Versus, you know, and kids don't know. They're not mature enough yet to understand what exactly they're going through. You know, how a coach might be wrong, but a kid still is in a position to really say things. You know, and back in the day, like, I grew up where, shoot, you don't talk back to coach. You don't disagree with coach at all. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, or else you're getting hit by a ball, or you're running lines, you know, an hour. You know, so um, it's a situation by situation kind of thing. I think you need to have a strong support around you. You know, you go talk to your family first. You know, go talk to some outside people, get opinions. But You know, it's really, you got to have the cooler head, and unfortunately, you got to look at the bigger picture. You know, what coach is trying to say. You know, and you know, then you can kind of go from there. You know, figure out what your next step should be. You know.
Yeah. I mean, like you said earlier, I mean, it's hard to say, but I feel bad for a lot of these kids that, they have so much potential and so much skills, but they're not able to, showcase it because of um, their coach not letting them be able to let them play their game. And I'm not saying that I'm hating on certain coaches that do that, but have you guys ever had a player that come up to you guys and tell you guys their problems and issues like that? Like, what do you guys tell them in those situations? Because for me, it's hard to tell my players that have problems like that with their coaches at their high school that they're playing with, because you don't want to say that your coach is wrong or bad, because us coaches, we got to stick together and support each other. You know what I'm saying? So what kind of advice would you give that player with that type of problem with their coaches, even if they don't get that help from home from their parents, because their parents are probably the ones who's agreeing with their child, like, oh yeah, your coach is bad and your coach don't know what he's doing, they don't know basketball and blah blah this and that.
Um, if it's comes down to playing time, I think the best thing to do is find out what your strengths are. You know, what's the thing you can do? Maybe show that, step up one game, be the defensive stopper, or go grab 5-10 rebounds, go set good screens, some other stuff you can do other than just scoring, like I mentioned earlier. And that kind of, proves your worth on the court on what you can do, to add more minutes. And at the end of the day, if your minutes are limited, see what you can do in your offense, to be more productive. I mean, it is a case-by-case basis. I've helped kids, who are in high school right now who are going through the same situation. It's just changing your mentality and how, okay, this is the situation, right? You can't change it. Okay, what can you do to make the most of your situation? And then hopefully from there, things turn around, you be more productive, and maybe the coach will give more playing time or something, It's kind of, you got to change how you look at it, and then to fight it head on kind of thing.
I
So
think the easy thing, or I think to summarize that, because I think almost every player deals with something, yeah, and whether it's the coach, playing time, pressure from outside, from at home or whatnot. And at the end of the day, I think the most important thing to remember, and we've gone through this ourselves, and and this is exactly what we're preaching to a lot of the players is, control what you can control, and let whatever else be, all the other stuff you cannot control, right? So, think about all the things that you can control. You can't control your playing time. You can't control what your coach does, or what, or how he subs or whatnot. You can't control, the outside pressure, from family or parents. All you can control is the effort you put on the court whenever you are on the court, how hard you work, your attitude, and, those couple things, if you do that right, it could make you pretty successful. So, I know a lot of kids go through the playing time stuff and the coaching stuff, but, just forget that, control yourself, and control how you respond to that situation that you're in. And whatever time or whatever opportunities you do have, you go all out in that. And then everything else will take care of itself,
I think now the parents now, the easy thing for them to do now is just have their kid transfer to another school now. That's that's
That's
that's the thing now, huh?
Oh, for sure. But then, and that's the hard thing. Parents, we don't have kids, ourselves, but we see it firsthand. Parents they just want the best for their
Yeah.
kids, no matter what. they want their kids to be so successful, and they just want to see that, and I totally admire and respect that. And I'm not necessarily saying that what they're doing is always right, but in their mind, they just want their kids to do well. And some of them, but then there are a lot of excuses. There's a lot of easy way outs, right? Like, the coach is junk, the program is junk, this, let's send them, But in reality, like, okay, like, did your kid, put in the necessary work, to be successful? I mean, you always can find blame in other things, but really, I think the step that is missed often is the self-reflection. The looking at yourself with that sober judgment, and seeing if the problem is coming from you, or is it really this outside stuff? You know what I mean? So that's one thing. That's one way to look at it. But
Yeah. So you guys know what it takes to play at the next level. How often do you guys believe a player should train?
Every day,
like that.
simple.
Is it once a day, twice a day? Like how? Like, I know every day, but I know some trainers and some coaches they tell their players they got to train more than once a day.
If you're able to, yeah. Like, some people just don't have the luxury or the resources, yeah. But man, in this day and age, the competition out there is so great. You know what I mean? You look at, and that's why you got to gauge yourself against the other competition, right? We are in a small island,
Yeah.
right? Like, everybody knows everybody. Everybody grow up playing against everybody. But we're forgetting, the 1,000 other people that are competing for this one spot. They're talking about mainland people,
Yeah.
talking about kids from the inner city. But they're not worried too much about going to school. They're practicing from light till dark, and but that's just different circumstances, right? So what you got to do in order to compete for that spot, you know what I mean? And the answer is different for everybody, but that's just something you got to keep in mind. I'm not saying you got to go and train from light to dark, but you got to put in work, and you do got to make sacrifices. Personally speaking, I remember like having to work out several times a day. But I mean, it wasn't like crazy. Like, I'd work out in, like, we do maybe like on the weekend, maybe I'll go run, or do some type of sand or hills, right? Jumps. Then I have to go to the park to get up shots or work on moves. Then I have to go to play pickup, So sometimes there's like three things, that I have to go. And a lot of the times I didn't want to go. You get you're sitting in the car with your dad, and you get the what was it, like a rhetorical question? Hey, you want to go play pickup game? And now I'm thinking like, oh, is this a trap? If I say no, I know for sure I might get a lot of scoldings in the car.
Yeah.
If I do, I want, but I don't want to go. Or like, I don't know what I should say. Sometimes I said no. Sometimes I got big scoldings. So it was a trick question. Yes, I gotta go. I gotta go play. You know what I mean? So you gotta make sacrifices.
Yeah, just going back to what you said, we're on an island. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't know. I tell my players that it's a must to train, like you guys said, every day. At least twice a day, just because we got to work just as hard or twice as hard because we're on an island. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I asked you guys, because you guys played at the next level. You guys went overseas. So that's why I was asking you guys, how often should a player train? Because for me, now I'm pretty sure you guys, work you guys butt off every day, and I'm pretty sure, like Derrick said, he worked 3 times a day, and that was the reason why he got that, where he was, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you mentioned that, Derrick, that advice you gave, because a lot of the kids now need to, believe in that they got to work twice as hard, especially for us guys that live on the island. And not last week, but the week before last week, I interviewed Clint Parks, and he said, practically the same thing you said, that us Hawaii guys gotta train every day because we're on the island. we're
Well,
three,
and
4,000 miles away from everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just it's crazy, and I'm glad you guys said that. What you gonna say, Kyle?
yeah, I mean, it's in the numbers. There's stats on the NCAA website that 2% of high school seniors go on to play Division III basketball.
Yeah.
1% goes on to play Division II, and 1% goes on to play Division I. And that's across the country. So when we go to the question of how many times a day you should train, you got to listen to your body. If your body is sore, you got to give it rest. It's not there yet. You're training your body. And at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, did you get better? Did you outwork the other 98%, if you want to play Division II, Division I? Or did you outwork the other 99% of the people in the country today to play Division I? So I just want to throw some numbers out there because a lot of people don't know how few of people really get to play at the next level.
Yeah.
What it takes. I mean, that's not very much, across the country.
Yeah. That's true, and I think that's why a lot of these kids should watch this podcast because you guys are giving great advice. I know you guys said a lot of things and you guys gave great advice, but before we end, what is the one advice that you guys can give the athletes in Hawaii? The most important advice that they should let it sink in their head.
I think one, is, do you love the game? Especially with basketball, do you really love to play it? That's the first question we always ask the kids. Or are you, because some kids are playing it just because the parents want them to, or because maybe a friend is playing, I want to play with my friend. To really succeed, you have to love the game first. And then from there, you add in, okay, how bad do you want it? What are you going to do to, sacrifice? I mean, we sacrificed a lot growing up. I mean, going to the beach, going to the movies, going to parties, we sacrifice a lot of things to, be on the court and train. And then the third thing is surround yourself with people, like I said earlier, who are going to support you and help you on your mission. If you have those three things, I think you're on the right start to, finding success, not only for high school, but, potentially playing at the next level.
I think Kyle nailed it on the head. I think the best advice I can give is, it's always to self-reflect. Is this something that you are serious about and really want? And then if not, right, what are you willing to sacrifice? How hard are you willing to work? Because right now, as you probably know, you come across a lot of kids who say they want to play at the next level, who say I want to go Division I, but their actions speak differently. You know what I mean? Like how much times we have kids that say like, oh, I want to play in college. Oh, nice, like awesome, good for you. How many times are you working out a week? Twice? Like
I have a lot of that.
I don't know if that's gonna work out, but I mean, so like to reflect, what do you want? What are you willing to give up? Like if you really want to excel at something, right? And not just basketball. If you want to excel at football, if you want to excel, as an engineer, if you want to excel at whatever it is in life, you have to dedicate a lot of time and a lot of reps, a lot of, resources to that specific thing. And basketball is no different.
Yeah.
Right? You're not gonna get to that level by practicing once, twice a week, right? You gotta do extra, and then it's the extra that separates you from everybody else. Everyone says they want to do or get to this level, but most of them are doing this much to get to this level. Okay, are you like what are you willing to do, in this area right here, right, to get to here? So that, and that's why, you mentioned the percentage, right? Yeah. What percentage did you mention? 4?
Well, 4%.
4%.
Division III, Division II, Division I.
Yeah. So what's going to put you in that percentage? Is what you're doing going to put you in that percentage? And if it's not, then either you don't want it enough or you're not doing
Go
it
play
enough.
tennis.
Go play Nintendo.
Well, there you got it, guys. To all you listening out there, I hope you guys, took all this advice from Derrick Lowe and Kyle Pape. These are some awesome advice. So all you listeners out there, make sure you guys go follow their social media. If you guys want to get in contact with them for basketball or anything, go ahead and follow those social media. I'll tag it on the podcast and on the IG. But other than that, guys, thank you guys for jumping on, man. I really appreciate it.
For sure. Thank you. This is fun, and anytime, we're always here to help.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Coach. Hey, we need a episode 2. Hey, we're gonna go over beard care and everything you gotta do to grow.
Oh, for sure.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys have a good one.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
too.